I had a professor in seminary who would often ask us the same question. His question was, what is the point of a church, or what is the role of the church? He would usually answer his own question pretty excitedly. He would always say, to be the church. The role of the church is to be the church. See, he thinks, and I agree with him, that we can sometimes overcomplicate that. Our calling is actually pretty simple: to proclaim the gospel, to celebrate the sacraments, to teach the faith, and then to be sent by God together out into the world with the Spirit's help to represent Christ to our neighbors, to become sacramental beings for the sake of the world. I'm standing next to our Paschal Candle because I think it's one of the most beautiful illustrations of how it is we have managed to be the church in 2021, which was once again a year quite unlike any other. You may or may not know much about Paschal candles, but they get installed each year at Easter. We have a generous donor here who typically buys us a new real wax Paschal candle for each Easter vigil and the year following. And they're only lit during the season of Easter when we gather for worship, and after that, only when we have baptisms or funerals. So when we first installed this candle, the preset that you're looking at now actually could not contain the height of the candle in the screen. We had to zoom out for several Sundays to get the whole candle in the screen. And I did measure. We've burned down something like 12 or 14 inches from this Paschal candle. And what that represents for us is the number of times that God has come among us as the Paschal mystery, death to life, as we've celebrated baptisms and worshiped at funerals. We had 18 instances of the miracle of holy baptism right here in 2021. At one point in the summer, we celebrated baptism for 7 out of 8 straight weeks, which is like a pastor's dream. Pastor Marcia and I were just pinching ourselves the whole time. We also lit this candle 7 times as we gathered in this space for funeral services, to remember God's baptismal promises for those who have died, to give thanks for their life, and to commend them to God's eternal keeping. It has been a year full of ministry, and primarily we want to say thanks be to God, and we want to say thank you. You are the church. We get to be the church because of you. So many of you have been so faithful as contributing members, whether you've shown up physically in this space, whether you have faithfully connected with us through our virtual offerings. So many of you have given of your resources so considerably, and that has freed us to do some wonderful things and to dream together and to focus on what God is calling us to be and to do.
When 2021 began, we had only a handful of people present in the sanctuary as we live streamed one worship service each week that people could participate in from their homes. Our AV team was instrumental in making all of this possible, installing and using new equipment. Some worship assistants participated from their homes and were either live or pre-recorded. During Lent, we imposed ashes outdoors. We celebrated communion under a tent. We joined on Zoom for a bowl of soup and worshiped together on Wednesday evenings from our homes. We recorded people waving palm branches. Holy Week and Easter services were a mixture of pre-recorded and live-streamed events. In June, with careful planning and with safety protocols in place, we came back together in person. Gradually, we started to reintroduce assembly song at some of the services, and we even invited our beloved pets to join us for a blessing. In the fall, Gentle Shepherd and Sanctuary choirs started rehearsing and participating in worship, while some decided for one reason or another to take a break for now, and we completely understand. You will be welcomed back with open arms whenever you're ready. We are thrilled with the number of people who are participating. The celebration ringers also came back this fall with renewed energy and with many new participants. So this has been a lot of fun. On Christmas Eve, in order to accommodate for safety and for social distancing, we worshiped together 5 times. Yes, 2021 has been a year filled with new adventures.
In 2021, faith was formed by the Holy Spirit through Christ-centered relationships fostered both in person and online. We are overjoyed that so many programs were able to return and meet face-to-face, including Agape Day Camp Week this past summer. Starting September, groups such as High School Youth Group, the Thursday morning book study, and Sunday morning education opportunities for all ages safely refilled Good Shepherd's hallways and meeting spaces. Though Zoom was essential for groups such as middle school ministry this spring to meet and prepare 9 8th graders for confirmation, online has remained a lifeline for adult small groups as well as the Bible study that continued to meet throughout the year on Wednesday mornings. When talks started about returning to in-person Sunday school in September, our adult Sunday school teacher, David Cope, fretted that by doing so, we might lose some of our population we were able to reach because of Zoom. In response, David decided that he would teach his Sunday morning class in person and then teach again the same lesson Monday nights online. In doing so, Monday School was born and has reached immunocompromised individuals, participants from Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and folks who serve elsewhere on Sunday mornings, including Richard H., our 6th grade boys small group leader. 2021 gave us a chance to look at the challenges we faced in 2020 and find new opportunities to grow in faith from what we have learned.
Even during this really strange time of the pandemic, we continue to offer loving service in so many ways that I can't possibly name them all now. Through financial gifts, service, and education, we support our core community partners. Folks like Families Together, Family Promise, North Raleigh Ministries, our Kindred in Mene Parish, Zimbabwe, and more. Stephen Ministers never stopped ministering to people in need of one-to-one, compassionate, and confidential care. Today I want to zoom in on our joyful partnership this year with Habitat for Humanity. This fall and winter, we joined with other Lutherans from the Triangle area to build a Habitat house in Apex. We kicked off the build this Raleigh Day when we had worship at the park. We learned about Habitat that day, and we also learned about them at the educational speaker series that was sponsored by our One Wake core team. Then we kicked off the financial appeal, hoping to raise $10,000 for Habitat. But in the end, through your incredible generosity, we raised nearly $30,000 through gifts of pennies and house-shaped banks, all the way to gifts of thousands of dollars. Our faith means that this matters to us. Safe, decent, affordable housing matters to us, and it shows. And we didn't just come together for the financial appeal. We came together at the build site and in the kitchen as lunches were prepared for those building. Now the house is almost finished. There'll be just another build day or two, and then the dedication ceremony is planned for next month. 2021 was certainly not a year of business as usual, but it was a year when we came together to be the church through worship, faith formation, and loving service time and again. And now we look to the future with gratitude for all that has been and with hope for all that is to come.